We're heading into the Dunkirk refugee camp where French authorities have blocked aid from entering the site. A small minority of refugees, about 7,000 of them, are in France, living in beyond human conditions as they wait asylum into the UK. There's no support from governments or aid agencies, so the situation would be much worse without the help of mainly British volunteers.
All the pallet paths were put down on last Monday when they allowed pallets and tents into the camp.
Rob Crook calling Marnie. I don't know if there's a window or they're gone. I said, when are you back? We have just been told we are leaving.
Police are leaving.
Really?
Yeah, they're leaving today and they're letting everything in. So we need to try and get older people that can do pallets, building materials, tents, tarps, get them in now.
Police have left. This is the first time they've left. In the meantime, everything's just going to come in as much as we can.
With police out the way, volunteers and refugees make the most of a rare moment as supplies flow freely into the site.
This is hectic now, but during the week, it's not like this. It's only because we've been letting vans in without passes that there's so much got in.
Clothes, boots, blankets get dished out with more freedom than usual. MSF have said that authorities blocked aid to deter more refugees from arriving, but this hasn't worked because demand is non-stop as numbers continue to swell. While authorities had blocked aid from reaching refugees in Dunkirk, the situation at that time in Calais was quite different, so we hit the road to find out more. First stop, the Calais warehouse, where volunteers are involved in everything from packing food to building shelters for the so-called Calais jungle, where aid is actually allowed.
And this was, behind here was the Iraqi Kurds side. Well, that's all been cleared now, this is all empty. All that side there was full of the families. Women's centre there. This is where all the...
Is that the women's centre?
Yeah, they do the distributions for women's clothes from here.
So basically we're just driving past the new camp that's being constructed at the moment, and you said that there's not much sanitation or any kind of infrastructure.
There's no community feeling there because where the little shacks are, they can build a little community. It's basically shipping containers with 15 beds in them, and that's it. They're expecting people to live in that, and it looks more like a prison camp to me.
It's getting slowly built up though, yeah? Are they going to get rid of the normal structures and replace them with containers? Is that what
they would like? Because there's only 1,500 people that can get in those containers, and there's about 6,000 people that can.
Very, very tiny minority of people that are refugees that are in the Calais port that want to go to Britain. Those are the ones with family ties or friendship ties in Britain already. That's why they want to go.
I was a football player and a student in agriculture college.
What's your favourite football team in England?
Arsenal.
What's your dream now?
To see Arsene Wenger and tell him about my life and my story and my football playing. About that. That's my dream.
The solidarity in here gives a false impression of how people see England. Obviously, not everyone in England has solidarity with the refugees, but they believe they do. They love England. England or death.
There are Dutch and French and Belgian volunteers here as well, but it's predominantly English volunteers, British volunteers that are coming here to help in Dunkirk as well as Calais.
Working with Lebanese refugee support, we've done some work with People in Motion.
I think what needs to be done, I've got the telephone numbers of all the different volunteers. I raise donation money to put people in hotels for respite.
Hello?
We buy gas, hello. We buy credit, we buy people food. We give donations,
Yay.
we make friends, and we laugh and play football, and we do lots of things.
At the moment, we're just having a wander around site because it's grown probably by about, 3 times the size. We're heading to the women and children's distribution.
This is the stockroom where all donations for women and children are organised so they can be easily distributed.
It's only for girls, the things that we got here.
What we're going to do is just go tent to tent and ask people what they want and if they need and what age they are kids.
That's the best way to do it, go tent by tent.
We're doing a thing called Aid Relay, where I'm doing this week and with volunteers, and then my daughter comes next week with people so that we can hopefully just keep going around. We're supposed to be linking up with the medics today as well, so that we're sort of finding the women and children who aren't coming out of their tents, really. Yeah. You want the rest of the stuff? We've been handing them out, but we're going to go and do some other stuff at the moment. We've put up a big tent for a new family, cut down trees and get it in. Got bedding, sleeping bags and stuff for them to sleep with, stuff they need. We're waiting for an aid box so they've got a cooker, something to cook on. And then we're going to go and find some food to cook on it. Yeah.
It's getting worse. It's getting worse. We've been squashed into a smaller space.
And now it's getting cold, people are freezing. The police are stopping even simple supplies like small canisters for heating and cooking. They're stopping those going in now. We can't get any building supplies in. There are not enough toilets. There are no showers. In Dunkirk, we're not allowed to build any shelters. It's just very, very flimsy tents with tarpaulins. It's inhumane, completely inhumane, the conditions here. Masses and masses of rubbish everywhere because there's no way of clearing it up. The authorities won't let it happen. MSF can do it, but they're not being allowed to do it. Without the help of all the volunteers, I just don't know how to see how these people would have survived so far. There's thousands and thousands of meals being cooked every day, thousands and thousands of people. And without that, people would literally be starving to death.
I've found that every single person is lovely. I've had no bad experience of absolutely anybody in here. Everybody had smiles at you, there's a genuine warmth towards you.
But people are still resilient, people are still amazing and inspiring.
Honest answer would be that I've got 4 kids myself. And God forbid my children would ever end up in this situation. But if they did, then my most fervent prayer would be that there would be good people, kind people, willing to help them.
We're all in it together. Solidarity with the refugees. We're on their side, you know, so we need them to know that.